about number 19 Kentucky going into Columbia and beating number 15 Missouri 91-83. No Jackson Robinson, no Kirk Creaser. They're both done for the year, Jeff. Kobe Bryant got hot early for the fifth time in, I think, 7 games. Otega Oweh had more than 20 points. And Kentucky now has 8 wins over AP top 15 teams. Talk to me about the Wildcats, Jeff.
Well, I really want to talk to you about your statement about a week or so ago about Missouri being a Final Four team. What was our bet again?
First of all, there was no bet. I didn't say that Missouri is a Final Four team. I said that I can see Missouri making it to a Final Four.
And what did I say I would do? What did I say I would do if Missouri made the Final Four?
I'm not going to say it because you're just trying to get me to say on video what you said on video. I'm not going to say it. I'm smarter than that. Not as dumb as
I am. Very true. Very true. Anyway, Otega Oweh has been awesome. It seems like for a month straight, every single game. Because they need him to, frankly. And Lamont Butler is not the same player he was before he got hurt. And he's probably not going to be the same player, which limits their ceiling a little bit. But, again, I think this is a team that can get to the Sweet 16 pending the right matchups. They've got a lot of guys. That was at least Mark Pope did the anti-Arkansas deal. Arkansas brought in like 8-9 guys. Mark Pope loaded up. I mean, he's got 12 guys who can play. And now he's got to play a bunch of them because 2 of his guards are done for the year. But I think Oweh's got to play like this every single game if they're going to beat good teams like this. This was a good win, obviously, at Missouri. I thought they'd be in trouble. Just with the way Missouri plays and with the way they get after you, I thought, again, the way they were able to handle their pressure was really impressive with one point guard who's not playing it clearly anything close to 100% right now.
Yeah. All right. So I'm starting to think – I was with you earlier in the year, Jeff. I thought that there was no way that Kentucky was going to be able to make a run here. The biggest issue was the defensive stuff, right? Since that loss to Ole Miss, it was on February 4th. They lost to Ole Miss. They gave up 98 points and I think it was 69 possessions. Lost by 14. It was embarrassing. Since then, they have gone from being the 108th best defense in America, according to KenPom, to being the 55th best defense in America, according to KenPom. With that rise defensively, they've gone from being the 24th best team in America, according to KenPom, to being the 11th best team in America, according to KenPom. Mike, since February 5th, they are the 8th best team in college basketball, according to Torvik, and they have the 16th best defense in America, according to Torvik. That is a sample size of, I believe, 8 games and over a month. If Kentucky can play defense like that, with Lamont Butler, with a banged-up Lamont Butler, that is a team that can make a Final Four. And I don't think I've said that since the first week of the season when they beat Duke.
Oof.
I really do believe that.
Yeah, well, look, defensively, in order to be really good defensively, you need to have continuity and lineup continuity. And they haven't had that for many portions of the season. And they're even now with Jackson Robinson going out, they're starting to capture that a bit today. What I was most impressed with today was not only just the way they, you keep Missouri out of transition with your ball security and your shot selection first, right? So they did that. But even defensively, I mean, Missouri's a team that gets to the free throw line almost more than anybody in the country, and you were able to defend without fouling. Missouri didn't get to the bonus until I think maybe four minutes left in the second half was when they first got to the bonus. So that was a win right there. But Jeff, you talked about, hey, I didn't think it was a good matchup for him, because Mizzou really gets after you. This was Mark Pope, man. Mark Pope had his hands all over this game. Early in the game, we know Kentucky and their offense, it's predicated on 5
Elaborate
out.
on that. Elaborate on that. Why? Why do you say that?
Because offensively, Kentucky's offense primarily is predicated. It's delay action, so really 5 out. Amari Williams up top, going to DHOs, going to zoom actions, pin down into a dribble handoff. And if you do that, and if you rep that with ball screens and handoffs, Mizzou will blow it up. They'll switch. They'll take you out of all the actions you want to run. So for Kentucky, that's what they did early, and it just resulted in a ton of forced shots, right? Contested looks. That's why they had 4 points in the first 7 minutes of the game. And so the change was, okay, how can we shift things around so that if we set a ball screen, it's a twisted ball screen, right? If if they're over pursuing us, we back cut. If I'm Amari Williams and I have that ball up at the slot and I feel my guy creeping up to anticipate the switch, it's a dribble keep, right? And if we're going to pick on the low hold guy underneath the basket, because that's what Mizzou does. They plant a guy underneath the basket so that they can rotate either way and they can be ready to take on a guy that's diving to the paint. Okay, cool. We're going to dive a guy to the paint, set a shooter in the opposite corner, and when that guy dives and your low man takes him, we're going to throw it to the shooter in the opposite corner, and it's Brea and it's Chandler. And so but here's the thing. Here's why I said Mark Pope had his hands all over his game. It's not only just the adjustments. You need to have guys that can do that and read that and process that. You can sit there as a coach and be like, hey, we need you to back cut when this happens, dribble keep when this happens, find the opposite corner when this happens. But if you don't have guys that can go out there and translate that, it doesn't matter. And that's also on Mark Pope for the guys he brought in and the guys he recruited. So this was the guys were great today. And even the last point defensively too, they have good individual defenders, but team defense is a whole separate beast. Right. And they were great. I mean, Butler's good on the ball, always good on the ball. Amari Williams is good as a defensive anchor. I thought Andrew Carr was probably the unsung hero today. He was everywhere, making plays offensively and defensively. And this was just to beat Mizzou in that arena where, I mean, I think they were 17-1 is one of the toughest places to play in America this year. And you're able to go in and do that. You add to what is already truly one of the best collections of wins already in America. You get another one tonight, or I guess another one today.
Yeah, that's my thing, Goodman. It is. So they have 8 wins against top 15 opponents, and I understand the issues. And I understand some of the continuity stuff. I understand the injuries, right? They have 8 wins over top 15 teams in America. In the last month, they're playing defense like a top 15 team in America. And if that can continue, that's a big if, right? But if that continues, like that, they've proven they can beat anybody in college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team you could certainly say if things break right, could they go to a Final Four? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
They're not one of those teams. They're not one of those 10, 12 teams that I would put at the top of my list of teams that I have confidence that's going to go to the Final Four. Again, if they were completely healthy, that might have changed for me. If they had Jackson Robinson and they had a Lamont Butler at 100% and they had Kirk Risa, things would be different. But they don't have any of those things right now.
Fair enough.
Well, don't you think like for the tournament, real quick, now 10, 15 seconds here. Don't you think for the tournament, there's really only 2 or 3 teams, maybe 3 or 4 teams that you say, don't care about the matchup. I like these guys.
Yes.
Like there's everyone else is matchup dependent. Everyone else. And maybe you could say that like top 5 teams, maybe, but everyone else in the NCAA tournament's matchup dependent.